Hi everybody, welcome back to Old Timer Noob Plays Panzer, Eastern Front Combat. Today I'll be playing through turn number 7 of Scenario 4, The Village Part 2. Before we get started, there are a couple things I'd like to clean up from the last video. If you'll remember, we had a hand-to-hand combat over here where the Soviets defeated a German squad in this building hex, and subsequently the Soviets occupied it. I neglected to remove the control marker for the Germans. So I'll do that now. And then, of course, the Soviets don't get a control marker until the end of the upcoming turn, which is turn number 7 here. And that'll happen at the very end during the adjustment phase. Another quick cleanup. I have some units in this hill hex here that had received suppression counters during the last turn, and the way I did the suppression recovery was incorrect. Right, so they were suppressed during their combat, and then what should have happened during this step, adjust or remove suppression step, is that any suppression on counters automatically get flipped over to suppression off. You don't have to roll to change from suppression on to suppression off. This is automatic. So I'll do that now. And then, as stipulated in the rules, during the adjustment remove suppression step, players first attempt to remove all suppression off counters. These are the ones that require that you have to roll to remove. So thanks again for the comments clarifying that. And let's get started with turn number 7. We begin with the spotting phase. Let's start up here again with our half track. Let's see if he can spot this infantry over here. We have to keep in mind that the wood building hex is treated as heavy cover for spotting. So in the small column, starting with a base of 10, he is in heavy cover, -3. He does have a spot move marker, that's +2. He is in full cover, -2. So he can't be seen by the half track, who would have to be within 1 hex. And then for the infantry unit, who I believe is in full cover, yes, I don't think he can spot him either. Heavy cover -3, spot move +2. The target's in full cover, -2. Full cover spotting -4, so no. This infantry squad can't see the Soviets in this building either. And since the same modifiers would apply for the Soviets trying to spot the German squad, they can't be spotted either. Now they're in a stone building, but the modifiers would be the same. It's heavy cover. It's not treated as heavy, it is heavy cover. Right, let's try over here. Can this Soviet squad see this German squad? They're at a range of 2. And they're in a wooden building hex, or inside the wooden buildings. So they're heavy cover, -3. They do have a spot move, that's +2. And then we have full cover spotting, -4. So no, they can't be seen. But can the German squad see the Soviet squad? Let's see. Heavy cover, -3. They do have a spot move counter, +2. The target's in full cover, -2. So no, they can't be seen either. So these squads can't see each other. There's no line of sight between these two squads. All right, so knowing what we know, we can take the, well, he doesn't have a spot counter on him. We can take the spot move counter off this guy, or the spot move. He can't be seen. Can the Soviet squad see the half track? check. Now we're in the vehicle column. Starting with a base of 20. Now the half track is in the building hex, but he's not in the buildings. He's in the alley. So his cover is light. So that's -1. He does have a spot move counter. That's +2. The target, I'm sorry, the unit doing the spotting is in full cover, -4. So that is a distance of 3. So this Soviet squad can see the half track. Okay. Trucks can't be seen by them or by them. Line of sight obstruction with the trees. Let's see if this tank can be seen by the infantry squads. Right, we have a vehicle. He's not in any cover. He has a spot fire. And the unit doing the spotting is in full cover, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 7 is the spotting range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he can be spotted by the infantry. Oh, but I forgot. He's suppressed. One of them is. Suppressed spotting -2. So one of those squads cannot see him. But the other one, who is not suppressed, can. Not that it matters. They can't attack him, but they can see him. Can they be seen by the tanks? Let's check. He said the distance was 7. So in the small column, they're in no cover. They have a spot move, 20. They're under full cover, back down to 10. So they can be seen at a distance of 10 hexes. So these tanks can see them, as well as this Panther 5. All right, let's check the mortar squad, the mortar section. I believe they have this Panther 5 in sight, but let's double check. In the vehicle column 20, he's in light cover -1. He has a spot move plus, yeah, he can be seen. They can see him. So that's good because he can conduct direct fire with his mortar at this Panther 5. The Soviet T-34s can see the Panther 5 and vice versa. Of course, these units can see each other. He can't be seen by any of the Soviet tanks. These tanks here can see all 3 sets of German tanks. And in turn, the German tanks can see him. He is in light cover, but they are in light cover. They both have spot fire markers, so they can be seen beyond the base range. So I think that covers everybody. Now we go to the command phase. Whichever side rolls lowest will place their commands first. Rolling for the Germans first. Now the Soviets. It looks like the Soviets will place their commands first. Both sides are down to 11 units apiece, so that results in C6 plus 0, 6 commands. So we'll start with the Soviets. I believe everybody is in command range for them. Command range is 10. Let's double check. Command tanks in here. That's 8 hexes, so they're within range. They're the furthest ones. All right, so this Soviet squad is going to get a fire command. These guys out here will get a move command. That's 2. 3, 4. These guys will share a move command. It's 5. And I think I'll give these T-34s a fire command also. All right, that's 6 commands. That's it for the Soviets. Now for the Germans. They still have the command span issue. They have at least 1 unit out of command span, so they can only issue 3 movement commands out of their total of 6. I think we'll give these 2 guys fire commands. We're going to have to start moving some units closer to the battle. Major battle over here. So give them a move. 4. And I think we'll finish up by giving these Panzer IVs a fire command. I think that covers everybody. So we move on to initiative. I'll roll for the Germans first. 59. Now for the Soviets. 47. It looks like once again the Germans have the initiative for turn number 7. There's no air phase in this scenario. We move on to the combat phase. There will be no indirect fire combat step. So we go to direct fire. The German player will be player number 1, the first player. Right, I'm going to start with these 2 Panzer IVHs. They are able to see the Soviet infantry over here. So they're going to fire some GP fire in that direction. We're at a range of 6. We're firing GP ammo, so that will put us here in the point blank column with an AP factor of 5, and it looks like the coax machine gun will have an effect in this combat as well. I guess the German player needs to specify or announce who he's shooting at, so the top Panzer IV-H will be firing at the suppressed half squad, and the second 4H will be firing at the non-suppressed half squad. So let's take a look at the defensive information for the squads, the half squads. They are size small. They have a GP defense of 2S. They are both in full cover, so that's a +2, which would be 4S. And they are both moving, which is a -2. So it's just a 2S, or 2 GP defense factor. So it's an offensive GP factor of 6, a defensive GP factor of 2. Will be in this column and this row, so we're looking at 35 and 65. Let's see if we have any modifiers that apply. Okay, we're not firing at a vehicle. I don't believe there's an ammo limit for the 4H. Nope, not for GP fire. But we do have a coax modifier +10. So we'll roll our D100. Roll to 12, +10 is a 22, and that is going to be a no effect. That was for the first Panzer IV-H firing at the suppressed squad. Now we'll do the second Panzer IV-H firing at the non-suppressed half squad. Same modifiers will apply. Offensive GP of 6, defensive GP of 2. 74 +10 is an 84. And that is going to be an effective result. And we know from before, with GP fire against leg units, if the target is anything but a full-size squad, a regular squad, it's eliminated. Were it still a squad, it would be reduced to half squad and marked suppressed. But in this case, he's eliminated. He's already half squad. So let's take a look here. That'll be this guy, the non-suppressed guy. I'm going to put him in the tombstone box just because. Right, his full cover marker will go away. And we're left with a suppressed half squad in full cover. So both of these guys are marked spot fire. They are. Get rid of this. And because we're going to roll later for this guy to see if his suppression marker comes off, we need to make sure we know that he was fired upon. Here's our under fire marker. We'll mark him under fire so we don't forget. Incidentally, in case we have forgotten, the reason we were able to use the +10 for the point blank modifier here is because the rule says if a coax machine gun equipped vehicle is firing at a P-type or S-type vehicle or any leg or towed unit from point blank range, the modifier is +10. And that was the case here. Okay, let's see who's next. We have our Panther 5 up here. Or Panzer 5 Panther. Using fire priority, he's going to be firing at the closest vehicle, which is going to be one of these guys. So I guess it'll be the top T-34. At a range of 2, he's at point blank range with an AP factor of 32. And for modifiers, the target size is 0. The target is not moving. We go by the command that he has, not the spot move or spot fire marker. So he has a fire command. He's not moving. He's not in cover. The shooter is damaged. So that's a -3. So we're at 63 so far. No brew up smoke. No overwatch. Ammo limit. Do we have one? No. So it's going to be a 2-hit of 63 or less. 71, that's a miss. So he will be marked spot fire. All right, put it on here. Next will be our Stug on the Hill. So he'll be firing over into this hex. And I think he's going to fire at the Su-85, which is probably a bigger threat for him than the T-34. There is brew up smoke in this hex, so we'll have that modifier. So our range is 9. So for the Stug 3G, that's going to be medium range with an AP factor of 19. So for modifiers, the target size is 0. Target is moving, -2. He is in light cover. It's -3. The shooter is damaged. That's another -3. That's a -6. We do have brew up smoke. It's -2. Let's check ammo limit. No ammo limit. So it's a -8. In the medium column, we need 10 or less. And he did it. He got an 8. With modifiers of 3 and 3. AP factor of 19. -3, and -3 is -2, so that's a 17. We're shooting at the front side. 1, that's a deck hit because it's a falling shot. We're firing from a level 2 hill to a level 1 hill. So the front side, falling shot, deck. His AP, defensive factor here, defensive information is 25, so that did not penetrate. I think that's fair, considering he only had a 10% chance to hit in the first place. All right, so he's marked spot fire. I think he might already be. Let's see. Yes. And since our SU-85 is also suppressed, we'll have to mark him with an under fire marker. So we'll know when we check for suppression removal. Okay, the next one is going to be the damaged Panzer 4H. He's going to be firing into the same hex. And I think perhaps he's going to shoot. Well, I didn't announce before that he was shooting at the SU-85, and I should have done that if both units were going to fire at the same tank. So since I didn't do that, I guess I'll have to say he's going to fire at the T-34. So at a range of 9, medium range with an AP factor of 19. Modifiers. Target size is a 0. The target is moving. Target's in light cover. The shooter is damaged. There is brew up smoke. And I don't believe we have an ammo limit. No. So we're back to 10 or less to hit with a total -8 modifier. And that's a miss. He's marked spot fired. And I believe that's all the Germans that had a fire command. Yes. So now it's time for the Soviets to return fire. Okay, I have these 3 T-34s, including the command tank on the hill, and these T-34s on the road, both with fire commands, and all 5 of those tanks are going to fire at this Panzer V. So I'll start with these guys. Range of 2. Point blank range with an AP factor of 26. For modifiers, target size is +1 for the Panther 5. Target is not moving. Target is in light cover. Shooter is not damaged, suppressed, broken, or on fire. There's no brew up smoke. No overwatch. Is there an ammo limit? No. So it looks like it's going to be 90 to hit. That's a hit. With 2 8s for our variable penetration. We have an AP factor of 26. +2 and +2, that's total +4. That's an AP factor of 30. We'll be shooting at front side, rear side, which I believe have the same values. So level shot. Yeah, front side, rear side. So the location is going to be 6. Oh no, they're different. Let's see. But the values are the same here. Yeah, everything's the same. So it doesn't matter. We'll say front side with a 6 for the location of damage. That's the hull front. So level shot, front side, hull front is a 30. And we said that our new AP factor was also 30, so that is a penetration. And for damage, we're going to have another damage. All right, so he was previously damaged, and now that he's sustained another damage, that means he's eliminated. So we can get rid of this. And this is their command tank. All right, I'll put him over here. Command tank knocked out. This top guy, well, they're all going to be marked spot fired. And these guys down here as well, they already are. So we can get rid of this, get rid of that. Boy, it looks like the Soviets have a little bit of life left in them. Things were looking bleak there for a minute. All right, let's see who else we have. Oh, this guy, the mortar section, was also going to fire at them, as I mentioned before. So we can get rid of that, and we'll mark him spot fired as well. Okay, so we have one more fire to resolve over here. This is our squad. Inside the wooden building, they have a bazooka. And they're going to fire it at this half track in the alleyway of the building hex. So they're firing AP at a range of 2. So they have an AP factor of 20. And the bazooka is not considered small arms. So in our adjustment phase, we'll have to check to see if we started a fire in the wooden buildings. So at a range of 2, we're at medium range, AP factor 20, as we've said. So let's check our target size. -1. Target is not moving. He has no command. He is in light cover because he's in the alleyway. Let me make sure of that. Light cover. Yes. So it's -2. No short halt. The shooter is suppressed. No, he's not. He's not suppressed. I lied. There's no brew up smoke. No overwatch. Ammo limit. Do we have an ammo limit? 8. All right, so we have to check and see. We have to roll against this number. If we rolled greater than an 8, then we apply the ammo limit modifiers. So for the Soviets, let's roll here. Roll to 1. We're safe. No limit. So they're not transported. All right, so we're at medium range, AP factor of 40. That's what we get. or the two hit number 40, I'm sorry. AP factor is 20 with a two hit of 40 or less. 78, that's a miss. All that anticipation, it was for naught. And they'll be marked spot fire. Okay, what else do we have? That's it for fire. So now comes time for movement. And the Soviet player will move first. Okay, if I read the rules correctly, a suppressed squad or half squad has only half their normal movement. However, just like with vehicles, they can always move one hex. Movement speed allowance is never less than 1. So I'm going to move these guys just for a sec out of here. So I can move all these guys in here. Put these guys back on top with a spot fire command, or spot fire marker rather. All right, so underneath is my suppressed half squad, under full cover with the under fire marker, and we can get rid of their move command. I guess that was it for movement, except for the Germans. Now the Germans can move. So we have these 3 or 2 Panzer 4Hs over here. I wanted to start moving them closer to the village, but I had hoped on getting rid of these 2 Soviet tanks first because they're crossing open ground. I probably should have given them a short halt command so they could fire some smoke first and then move. But I didn't, so I think what I'll do is move them up in this direction so they can go up and around. If I move them this way, they won't get any closer, so the AP factors won't increase. Still in the open, even if I stay here. Once I get over here, I'll have some cover. So there's no overwatch anywhere. 1, 2, 3. That's their normal movement allowance. And they are marked spot moved. And I believe that covers everybody. So that brings us to the adjustment phase. No pivoting, no turrets adjusted. Adjust full cover. Let's see what we've got here. You know what I just realized? I had move command for these 2 units, these 2 Soviets. I guess I can still do it. I mean, the only thing that happened in the interim was the Germans moved. That was it. So I'm going to move these guys like I planned to. They have their move marker, move command. Now they are in scrub terrain, so if they turn or leave the hex, they first have to roll for bogging. In addition to that, the Su-85 is damaged and suppressed, so his movement allowance is quartered. Half for being suppressed, which brings it down to 2, and half of that for being damaged, which is 1. So for the Su-85, what I'm going to do is turn him 1 hex side to the right, but first I have to check for bogging. Oh, I was wrong. There is no bogging check for scrub. So I can just move those units. So the Su-85 is going to turn in place. He'll now be marked spot move. And then my T-34, who is suppressed. Well, actually, that would have cost me an extra point anyway, because there's brew up smoke in here as well. He just turned, so. But now I have to worry about this or not worry, wonder. I wonder about the brew up smoke. I'm looking at the rule. It says here, movement into or through a brew up smoke hex adds +1 to the cost of the other train type in the hex when moving or turning in a hex. Right. Well, my SU-85 just turned. He didn't move into the hex. And he wasn't moving through the hex. He just turned in the hex. So I don't think he's got to pay the terrain cost. He just has to pay the turn cost. And I think when he first moved into that hex, he was facing straight up because he entered from down here. So this is his first turn, so he gets a free turn. But he's got to add the +1, which was the movement allowance he had left. So we're good for him, I think. Now for the T-34. First of all, he is suppressed, so his movement is reduced to 2. So if he turned in the hex, it would cost him 1 also, and he'd have 1 movement point left. And then he would not be able to reverse, which is what I had planned on doing because it costs double the train cost to move in reverse. So going forward, it costs 1 to get in here. Going backwards, it costs 2. But it costs him +1 for the brew up smoke, and that's more than he has left because of his suppression. He only has 2 movement points. I think I'm interpreting that correctly. But like the SU-85, when he entered the hex, he was facing this way. So this would be a free turn except for the +1. So if he weren't suppressed, I could do what I had planned on doing. Now I'll have to come up with an alternate plan. Right, I'm just going to have him do his turn. And then he'll be marked spot move. Oops. All right, now I think that's everybody. So back to where we were. Just for cover, taken care of. Adjust or remove suppressions. All right, both of these guys are suppressed, and their suppressions are on the off side, so now we can roll to see if they get removed. So here's what we're doing. In any order, the players first attempt to remove all suppression off counters. Reference the unit grade modifiers and the suppression recovery tables, both found on game card B. So here's the unit grade modifiers. Here's the suppression recovery modifiers. Reference the unit grade modifiers and suppression recovery tables. Okay, the base recovery range is found in the suppressed recovery column right here. Suppressed recovery. These are seasoned units. So that's the base range, 1 to 60. So we roll a D100 and then apply modifiers, which are here. It's 54. They did have a command other than no command, so it's +20. That's 74. And they were under fire. That's plus another 10, so that's 84. So the first one anyway, did not make it. He rolled higher than 60. So for the second guy, we'll do the same thing. We'll roll a D100 and add 30 for his command and being under fire. That's a 67. Again, he fell outside the base recovery range, so they remain suppressed. Right, I think I had a suppressed infantry squad over here somewhere. Right here. All right, so going back to here, seasoned base recovery range is 1 to 60. They did have command other than no command, so it's +20. They were under fire, so +30 again. It's 105. Definitely did not recover from suppression. Okay, the next thing is remove morale. We don't have any. Remove counters. That's command counters. They're all removed by now, I think. We have check for fires. And as it turns out, we're not going to check for fire because the rule says Buildings or rubble may catch fire and burn as a result of direct GP fire directed at units located in a building. Well, we didn't fire GPM, we fired APM with a bazooka, so that's not going to happen. No fire there. Now we would check if we'd fired an anti-tank rocket, but that's not what it was. It was a bazooka. So the next thing is place control markers. So I think the Soviets will get one for this hex, and the Germans, I don't think they have one in here. Oh, they already have one, okay. So the Soviets get one for this hex. So we can move this into here. It's been a full turn. I think they already have one, and they have one. So do they. That brings us to the end of turn 7. Thank you very much for watching. And please come back and check out turn number 8. Bye for now.